If you've been thinking about booking a trip to Japan, then this video is for you. I visited Japan at the end of September 2025 to celebrate my 7-year wedding anniversary, and honestly, it was worth every single penny and more. I can't wait to go back to Japan, but this video is not about all my excitement. I'm gonna go through what we spent in Japan, what we actually budgeted, and how much we actually came in on. Shout out to my husband for editing this video for me. Gotta plug my man, because I'm trying to go back to Japan. So if you need a video editor, shout out to my husband. But honestly, the trip was everything and more. So how I'm going to structure this video, I'll start off by going through the costs, and then at the end of the video, I'll talk about my experiences, places we went. And if you'd like a separate video on the itinerary, being the type A woman I am, every day was mapped out, and I've still got written down what we did, how much we paid for certain things. So if you want to see that video, then let me know in the comments as well. So without further ado, I'll get straight into the costs. But before I get into the cost, one thing I really wanted to say is that Japan was a dream trip for my husband. He's wanted to go there for as long as I've known him. And since we got together, he kept saying, let's go Japan next year. Let's go Japan next year. And when I looked at the flights and the hotels, I'm like, it's too expensive. Next year, next year, next year. And 2025 came, and it was finally the year. And just seeing how much he enjoyed it, like I knew I'd enjoy it. I love traveling, but I didn't realize I would fall in love with Japan as much as I did. Honestly, coming back from the trip, I normally have the holiday blues coming back to the UK, but the Japan blues, those blues need to be studied. It was tough. The first couple of weeks back, it was a lot of adjusting, and I just kept thinking about Japan, like, why gotta go back to Japan? I'm here, but it is what it is. I'll be back soon, Japan. But without further ado, let's get into what we spent. So I'm gonna go through the costs, what we initially budgeted, and what we actually spent. Let's get to hotels first. So we stayed in Kyoto for the beginning of our trip. We stayed there for 4 nights. Absolutely loved Kyoto. I wish we'd stayed for longer, but I'll be back. So the hotel we stayed at was called Hotel Kanra. And the reason I chose that hotel, I looked at so many different hotels. But one thing that I really liked about Hotel Kanra was the fact that it had more of a Japanese authentic feel to the way that the room was. There was a lot of like wood paneling. Also the beds was the traditional Japanese kind of bed. And I was like, I want to experience more of an authentic Japanese feeling. I'm going to Japan. I don't want to feel like I'm in America. I want to feel like I'm in Japan. And I'm really glad that I went for that hotel because the service was amazing. When we arrived, they gave us like green tea. They were really friendly. The receptionist that we spoke with, she recommended like local coffee places we could go to, places we could check out. And they were just so lovely. Like I really, really loved it. And the food, chef's kiss, really good. It was a 4-star hotel, but it was amazing. I would definitely, if you're staying in Kyoto, definitely check out Hotel Kanra. It was worth it. It was great. And also the room was a decent size. I know that it's quite common in Japan for the rooms to be quite small, but this was fine. We were able to fit our bags comfortably. I didn't feel like we were stepping over each other. There was also like a little seating area as well, which was also quite authentic in how it was set out. But yeah, honestly, the room was great. It was clean. And the location was really prime. We were very close to a station you could walk to. I'm already getting into it and I've not actually told you the price. So let me stick to the order of events. When I was initially planning the trip, my plan was to budget about £2,000 for hotels. I didn't know how realistic that was going to be, but I was going to try to just stay within the 2K mark. So I will tell you how much we spent for Hotel Kanra. So it was 4 nights, 4-star hotel, pretty good location as well. We spent £880 for the 4 nights. I think I was able also to get a slight discount. I believe, I need to check where I booked it with. I think I booked with booking.com or Expedia, one of the two, but I had some points somewhere, so I was able to reduce the price slightly, but it was £880 for 4 nights, and that also included breakfast. So I think the price was actually pretty good. I was happy with it, and the breakfast was really, really, really good. It was a buffet, and it had a mixture of Japanese food, also a little bit of more like continental American kind of food. There was a bit of options for everyone, but it was really, really good. Really enjoyed the breakfast. And the hotel we stayed in Tokyo was called Daiichi, Hotel Daiichi. Let me just double check. That feels wrong as I'm saying it, but I'm sure it's right. Daiichi. I may be saying it wrong. Now, the hotel we stayed in Tokyo, this was the one that gave me the most headache. A lot of the hotels I saw in Tokyo were really, really small, and it was really expensive. So I was trying to balance a room that was a decent size also a price that was not an arm and a leg for a little box. So I settled on Hotel Daiichi. I looked at lots of reviews. There was predominantly good reviews. So I just thought, let me go for it. And also it was a 5-star hotel and it was quite affordable. So we stayed there for 7 nights and that also included breakfast as well. And we spent £1,487.88. So the total we actually spent for hotels was £2,367.88. So slightly over the 2K budget that we initially budgeted. Let me also preface this by saying, because I didn't actually tell you what the overall budget was. So my thinking was I want to spend roughly 5,000, maximum £6,000 for flights, hotel, and spending money. So 6K was like the ceiling that I wanted us to spend overall. I didn't want to be super budgeted, as I'm normally a little bit more strict when it comes to, you know, the budget for the holiday. But I really wanted us to enjoy it because it was a special trip, and also it was to celebrate our 7-year wedding anniversary. So yeah, so we were over budget in hotels. Let's get into flights. So again, for flights, I was hoping to maybe spend within 2,200-ish range. We flew economy. One day we'll experience first class or business or one of the things, but it was economy. And for the flights, it was 2 people, direct flight. So for our flight, because we were initially staying in Kyoto, there are no flights from London to Kyoto. So what we had to do was we took a flight that went to Tokyo, and then we had one stop from Tokyo to Osaka. From Osaka, we had an airport transfer drive us to our hotel in Kyoto. It was only about a 40-minute drive. And I found that seemed to be the easiest way to kind of get around that part of our trip, which is also why I decided for us to stay in Kyoto at the beginning of our trip and finish our trip in Tokyo, so that it will be just a direct flight getting home. So that just made life so much easier. So flights, I've told you flights so far, I've told you the hotel, and now it comes to spending money. So for spending money, I'd spoken to a friend, he's half Japanese, about whether it was important for us to have a lot of cash or whether we can use our card in Japan, because every country is different. And he said, you know, for a lot of places you can use cash, but equally you can use your card as well. So what I did was I took out about £600 in cash, and then the rest of our budget was just going to be using our card. So initially for spending money, the aim was £2,000. Again, you tell me in the comments, do you think that is a realistic, a flexible budget for 2 people for 11 nights? I don't know. Again, I did lots of different research, and based on the things that we wanted to do, I thought, yeah, £2,000 should be fine, but we'll get into that later. So overall, what we actually spent was, so the £600, that finished very quickly. We found that there was a lot of places that they actually preferred cash, and so we used a lot of cash. Also, when it came to traveling around, we both got IC cards. So the IC cards, it's, if you live in London, it's almost like a, let's just say a prepaid card. That's the easiest way, and you can top it up. But the good thing is you can use it for travel on the trains. You can also use it on buses. We didn't get on any buses, but you can also use it to buy food in stores as well. So it's pretty much like a universal card, which is really good, and you can easily top it up. So we found that when we were traveling, we would just be topping it up quite a bit because we didn't put as much as we thought we actually needed. In terms of the actual card amount that we're spending, so like I said, the aim was about £2,000. So we definitely spent more than 1,500 on our card. And let me just give you the overall figure that we spent. So I gave you hotels, so I'll just remind you. So for hotels, we spent £2,367.88. For flights, we spent £2,312. And overall, when it came to activities, eating out, things that we bought, we did quite a bit of shopping as well. That's one thing friends recommended, that, you know, there's lots of good things, good prices. So definitely have an empty suitcase, which I did. And they were right. The prices were really, really good. Did a lot of good shopping there. Don't regret it. But let's get into the bottom line. So like I told you, we spent the 600 cash. We spent £1,517.10 on Monzo, which is what I was using initially for the spending money. And then from our main joint account, we spent £326.50. Also, actually, I spent £16 on my Japanese visa because I don't have a British passport, so I gotta have a visa. So overall, we spent £7,123.48. That's excluding the visa because I hadn't added that initially. So add the £16 on top and then you'll get the overall total. So that's how much we spent for an 11-night trip. at the end of September to October. Would I recommend? 1,000%. And also, you might think that's a lot, you might think it's not much, but one thing I'd say is that it just depends how you spend. There were definitely hotels that were cheaper. There are different options. You can do Airbnb. For me, if I go on holiday, I want to stay in a hotel. I'm not trying to be doing Airbnb. I want to feel like I'm on holiday. And also there were cheaper options. These are just the options that aligned with what we could afford and what I wanted. So you could definitely spend a lot less. You don't have to spend as much as we spent. And honestly, I regret nothing. It was worth every penny. I think about the Japan trip at least once a week. So yeah, it was well worth it. So if you've been thinking about booking a trip to Japan, I definitely recommend. A question I get asked a lot by my fellow Black people is, was it racist? Were people looking at you funny? No, Japanese people are really polite. I mean, even if people are racist, they never said anything. They didn't make us feel uncomfortable or not welcomed. People were friendly. Even those that didn't know English, they were still nice. There wasn't any stares. Nobody tried to touch my hair. There was none of that. It was nice. And also the good thing is I saw lots of other tourists, especially when we were in Kyoto, surprisingly. Saw lots of Black people as well that were visiting, and also some that I think maybe they're working there. So yeah, it was amazing. I definitely say if you've been wanting to go, start saving up. You are going to enjoy it. And if you can, try to extend your trip so that you can visit lots of different places. Even though we had our home base in Kyoto and Tokyo, we also did day trips to other places as well. So we went to Osaka, we went to Universal Studios. We also went to Hakone. That was really nice. That was beautiful, by the way. It was so nice. I really wish we had time to do the what do you call that? The cable car. But because of the timings and it just wasn't going to work out. But it was it felt like you were in an anime. It was so beautiful. Also, Nara, you got to go to Nara. It was very beautiful. And then, you have the deer walking around. That was cool, but also a little bit scary as well. But honestly, it was amazing. So we probably went to about six cities, I'd say. We also went to Chiba, went to Shinjuku, which is like another area within Tokyo. If you want a separate video where I can go through the itinerary, I literally have the breakdown of what we did on each day, how much things cost, the attractions we went to, is it worth going? Because I know, once you start planning your Japan trip, your feed is going to be inundated with go to this place, check out here. And it can be so difficult. Like, what do I even pick? So if you want to steal our itinerary, if you want me to share the breakdown of what we did, how much we spent, places we'd recommend and probably tell you to skip, then let me know in the comments and I'll definitely cover that in another video. So that is how much I spent on my Japan trip. I would definitely recommend, and like I said, listen, start saving. It is worth it. I've never met anyone who's visited Japan and regrets it. A friend of mine recently came back and she was like, yeah, I loved it. I can't wait to go back. So this is your sign. If you've been wanting to book that trip, get saving, and you're going to have an amazing time. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel. In 2025, I also did a lot of traveling. I traveled to 6 countries, including Japan. So I'm going to be sharing some more about my trips, what I spent, things that I'd recommend. So stay tuned for that travel content too, as well as personal finance content, adulting, and all the things that my weird and wacky brain is interested in. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Share this with a friend and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye bye.